In Creo Parametric 12.4.2, Cable Harness Assemblies replace the previous cable harness parts. In this video, I'm going to take a look at bringing in an XML file and designating some different components as part of logical referencing for cabling. And so here I have a top-level assembly. There are a couple of structural components. Then there is an assembly called Harness 2364. Be aware that this is not one of those new cable harnessing assemblies. It is just called that, and it contains a bunch of different electrical components that I am going to designate for routing, and it just contains these different connectors. And I'm going to warn you, I have not seen the Creo schematics wiring diagram that was used to generate the XML file. I'm not very familiar with the XML file, so we'll see how it goes. Also, I am sort of approaching this as someone using logical referencing in the new cable harness assemblies for the first time. I've read a little bit of the help. I did a dry run a couple days ago and found some of the different stumbling points, but I want to approach this sort of like how one of you would do this the first time that you're trying cable harness assemblies and logical referencing. So anyhow, that said, let's go to the Applications tab and then choose Cabling. And here I have the welcome message. I'm going to click no because I do not want to go into the help. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to activate the assembly that I want to create my new harness in. You can see that it has the little green star next to the icon in the model tree. Let's go to the Create Harness button. This opens up the Create Component dialog box. The type is set to subassembly. The subtype is set to harness. And we have to give it a name. And I'm going to make up a name. Let's just call it 2364-001. And then click the OK button. Now we have the Creation Options dialog box. It is suggesting one of the PTC provided default templates to me to use. I will click the OK button in order to accept that. And now if I scroll down, here we can see the new cable harness assembly that I just created. You'll note that it has a special icon in the model tree. So now that I've done that, let's activate that harness. I'll go to the Activate Harness drop-down list and then choose it. In the lower left-hand corner of the graphics area, we see the note that tells us that it is indeed the work harness. And now in order to bring in my XML data, the first thing I'm going to do is create a cabling data object. Here we have the cabling data command, and we have two commands in here, cabling data or add cabling data. Add cabling data is so that you can bring in an existing assembly of the subtype cabling. I need to create one, so I'll go to the cabling data command. This opens up the Create Cabling Data dialog box. Here it's suggesting a default name to us. I want to change this because I want to make sure that I'm not using the default name, because we could end up getting some conflicts when I go to check this into Windchill later on. Just like all the people who create brand new parts and they leave the default name PRT0001 and then they wonder why later on that they have conflicts when they're trying to check in. So anyhow, in here we have create, which will create it only in session. I'm going to choose create and add so that it will be included in the active assembly. And so if I go to the tree, here we have that cabling data object created. If I expand it, there's really nothing in here right now. One thing to note about these cabling data objects, these are going to hold the XML data. And so with the previous way of creating harness parts, when you brought in the XML data or the logical referencing data from some other source, it was stored in at the assembly level, the next higher assembly where which held the harness. But now we have these cabling data objects, and that's going to hold the XML data. All right, so anyhow, we have the cabling tool dialog box, which has opened up. And there are a bunch of different commands over here on the left-hand side for designating and all that sort of stuff. One thing to note, one area where I made a mistake when I was first experimenting with this, if you take a look, here is a field for specifying the harness context. And I thought that it was automatically selecting a harness context. No, we need to select something in order to hold the information and to be the harness context. So that was a mistake that I was making the first time that I ran through this. I read in XML and it's just like, why isn't anything working? So let me do that. For the harness context, I'm going to click that. What do I want to click? I think I want to click this assembly, harness 2364. All right, so now that I have done that, let's see, let's figure out which command allows us to bring in the XML data. Choose columns. Here, the third icon over allows us to import logical data into this cabling data model. So I will click on that, and there is a folder with XML data. There are two XML files here. I'm going to choose the first one. Let me just double click on it. And then we have this dialog box for selecting layers to import. I'm just going to click the OK button. I don't mind bringing in 3 additional layers. And so it's doing some thinking as it is bringing in the data. All right, so now we have our information populated. You can see that there's quite a bit in here. And so these are all the different components that need to be designated based on the XML file. I'm going to grab some of these columns and make them a little bit wider, take advantage of the blank space I have over on the side. And so here we have the reference designation. Here we have the model name that it's looking for in that from the XML file. Here we have the component that is going to be designated, and here we have the different status columns. You can see like multiple and missing. And so what this means is that it's looking for a model name with this name, but there are multiple different options. And as a matter of fact, if you take a look at this highlighted line, and then in this little window that opens up, there are 4 different objects which highlighted in here. And as a matter of fact, if I take a look in the model tree in the window, here we can see those 4 different objects. I will expand one of them. You'll also notice that we have a bunch of different components inside here. They renamed some of these to clip 1, clip 2, clip 3, clip 4, just to simplify the process of using these different components as the various different logical references. So anyhow, it's looking for a model name, and I need to select a component, one of the 4 that are highlighted. Now, if I move my mouse over the model, here we can see the name of the assembly, and that is good. Let me click that to use as the first one. And in the dialog box, this got updated, although you'll notice that all the individual components weren't matched up. I think if I hit the apply button, that'll work, but let me just do some of the other different components with the same name. So let me scroll down in here. And so, yeah, this component has the same name. So let me click this one. And so now it's highlighting one of the 3 remaining. Let me select just the next one in the list. All right, so we've got that one. And let's see, here we have another one of the same component. Let me click here. And there are 2 remaining. And let me click this one. And then let me scroll down. Okay, so Here we have another one that it is looking for. Now, when you're designating in the old cable harness parts, you wouldn't have to do the last one. It would automatically do by process of elimination that this should be the last one. I didn't notice if that was working before. So for that reason, I'm not going to explicitly pick that this one should be the one that is remaining. I'm going to see what's going to happen. Let's go to the next object on the list. And so it has the reference designation CEL. It's looking for a component with this particular name. All right, looks like there are multiple once again. Let me zoom out and zoom in. Let me start with this one here, and I will pick it. And let me go to the cabling tool dialog box. Okay, let's see, it's a different component name entirely for the next one. Let me click here. And so it's highlighting 4 of those objects. Let me put my mouse over this one. And I think they're just part files for here. It's like, yeah, I'm tapping the right mouse button to query select. These are just going to be .prts, not .asms. So I will pick that. And let's see. Here we have another one of the same component name. So let me pick just the next one in the row. And then we have, whoa, what happened there? Let me click here. Okay. Clicked in the wrong place. It sent the other window to the background. No big deal. All right, so let's see. Which component do I want for this one? Let me select that. And let's see. Let me scroll down. I'm just going for the things that are listed all the way to the left in the reference designation column. Then we have another 608. Okay, let's grab this one. And then it's looking for a 0770. Okay, looks like it's one of 2 objects. Let me try this one. All right, so let's see. There are 2 components in there. Oh, we had a bunch of auto matches that were done. That's nice. I always like auto matching. And let's see, the 608, there's just one 608 left. I'm actually not going to select an object. I want to see if it automatically figures out by process of elimination that that should be 608. We have a whole bunch of other auto matches. Which one is this? Oh, clicked in the wrong place again. Let's bring that window up. All right, that one there. Let me again see if it's going to do process of elimination. Let me scroll back up to the top of the list. Again, you see that there's a whole bunch of missing. Let me try hitting the apply button. And so now it's doing some thinking. All right, so there's a bunch of red that went away. So let's see what we have here. Let me scroll back up to the top. Oh, let's see. Oh, maybe there's a different button I have to try. Import, choose display. Let's try this one. Ah, okay. Now we have a bunch of auto matches in here. So it wasn't the apply button that I wanted. It's one of the icons in the upper left-hand corner. And so I'm scrolling down. Hey, lots of auto matches. I like that. Okay. Here. Yeah, it did not figure out by process of elimination. So let me manually select this object. And let's see. And it didn't figure out that one by process of elimination. So let me pick that. And then scroll down. All right, let's see. Click here to add item. And that should be this one. Okay, and once again, let me try hitting the automatically designate assembly components. Okay, So it auto matched those two. I'm going to scroll up in the list to see if there's anything else that I need to match. And it looks like everything is matched up. One thing to be aware of is that sometimes you want to designate a component that has a different name in your CAD model compared to what it was expecting from the XML data. And so the icon that I have hovered right now will allow you to do that. And let's see, let's look for some other stuff that we have. Let's go to those components that were just like regular PRT files. Let's see. Yeah, so this one was a PRT file. I'm going to expand entry ports in here. And so here we have the different entry ports from that component. Let me try a different one, pick that one. Okay, there aren't any ones in there, but if I go to one of the components in there, we see which entry ports were designated and which ones were not. And let's see, another thing that I want to try, let's try checking the status. So this icon is for identifying and evaluating differences between the imported logical data and the designated data within the cabling assembly. Make sure to apply all changes before comparing. So this is that old compare command that you used to have. By the way, there are a whole bunch of interface changes. You'll notice that a bunch of commands that you were used to are no longer in the ribbon. So for example, the compare command, I think it was from a drop-down list. Yeah, that's no longer there, but I did apply changes. So let's try this. And when I click on this, yeah, it opens up the menu manager. A bunch of the menu managers were removed in Creo 12.4.2 and beyond, but this is one of the places where you still have the menu manager from compare. And I haven't routed any wires or cables, so I'm going to turn those off. And I haven't generated any spools from XML. I'll do that in another video. And I'll leave this as matched and alphabetical. Then I will click the execute button. And here we have it opening up one of the old style connector windows. I'm going to grab this and I'm going to make it a little bit wider and longer. Okay, and so actually let me move it a little bit more over to the center. And so some of the things are showing up as no, and I think it's just because I'm using an XML file that has a bunch of extra stuff. But if I scroll down past the initial stuff, hold on, let me try making this a little wider. Make it wider, help. Okay, so yeah, here we have the update and compare. Okay, this looked better when I did it before. I'll be honest, I'm not sure what's going on here, but we do have a bunch of things that do look like it is matching in here. This is one of the dialog boxes that I hope gets updated, but yeah, we've got a whole bunch of stuff that is missing, but some stuff is matched up. I see a bunch of yeses. Anyhow, let's close out of here and let's quit out of the menu manager. And so I have designated a whole bunch of different components. I think that's all I need to do in the cabling tool for now. Let me click the OK button, and it is doing some thinking. You'll notice that we are getting some quick regeneration windows. I do want to go down to the Cable Harness Assembly, and here is the cabling data. There are a bunch of annotations now, and so it created some of these different reference designators, but I'm not going to go into any of the reference designator stuff for now, just because I haven't explored that. But there you have it. That is a bit of a taste of what it's like bringing in XML data. I am excited to learn more, and I'm excited to learn about the cabling data objects. So in the comments, let me know what you think.